Happy Monday and welcome to another sneak preview. I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
I'm Caleb Leger.
And this is our last episode of 2021. To close out the year, we're discussing four major releases: The Kingsman, Don't Look Up, Reno 911, The Hunt for QAnon, and The Matrix Resurrections. And we've got some mixed feelings towards some of these films. It's sure to be a vibrant discussion to close out 2021. But first, let's take a look at what happened last week in film. Last week in film. We've got four trailers to discuss. First up, the second trailer for Uncharted, starring Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg, comes out February 18th. We talked a bit about this a few weeks ago with the first trailer. It's been in production hell for God knows how long. And I really hope they pull this off. I love these games. I don't want them to fuck this up.
Yeah, same. This trailer gave me a little bit more hope. I thought this was a much better done trailer. It included obviously the set pieces that they're going to pull from the games. The reason I got sold a little bit more was because of the very end of the trailer when they're pulling the ship out and having that, because that's not from the games. Like, that hasn't been in any of the four games. So that's me. I went, okay, cool. You're not just going to pull stuff from the games. You're going to take obviously moments that the fans know that people going in who play the games recognize, but you're also going to do set pieces that are just meant for the film, but are retaining the spirit of the games. Because that's what I felt. I remember watching it going, like, that's the spirit of the game right there. Like, that is something I could see them trying to do in a game. So that's what kind of sold me. And then when they finally showed us Mark Wahlberg with the fucking stash and everything, I'm still not convinced he's solely, but at least they are going for the look at some point in the movie. So it's like, okay, I'm a little bit more on board. It doesn't look like you're just pulling shit in the hopes that it lands. It's like, no, you're doing what you're, to me, kind of like Sonic and other video game films of the past have been finally kind of getting right, which is you're pulling things that will draw in the video game fans that we recognize, like the whole plane sequence from 3 that we're going to see play out in the film, but also adding things for the movie that do keep the spirit of the game alive and alignment. So I'm a little more sold on this trailer.
Yeah, me too. I like that they included, Drake's ring. I like the shout out to his brother Sam. I am a little bit more hopeful. The director Ruben Fleischer's got a great track record. Zombieland was great. Venom was great. So maybe we give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I remember that first trailer, I was like, I don't know about this one. But this one, I was like, okay, I'm on board a little more. I'll give this a chance. And considering like there's just a void being left right now because we're not getting the new Indiana Jones next year. It just keeps getting delayed, and I mean it's pretty much gonna be the last one with Harrison Ford anyway. Why not have a new action adventure step into the ring and give it a shot? Because we're not really getting those like we used to anyway.
That's true. Next up, the second trailer for the long-awaited Death on the Nile, Kenneth Branagh's second Hercule Poirot film that's been delayed multiple times, comes out February 11th. And I didn't realize just how fucking problematic this cast is. I mean, you've got Armie Hammer, who they are actively trying to hide in the trailer, and then now Letitia Wright, who is making waves at Marvel for her anti-vax stance. So a lot of people in this that nobody really wants to see, which is kind of sucks for Kenneth Branagh. I'm glad they're not just shelving it. I love the Poirot stories. I thought Murder on the Orient Express was not great, but watchable. And this looks intriguing. I love the use of Depeche Mode's Policy of Truth. Apart from certain problematic people, the cast does look insane, and hoping this works out.
Yeah, I know that's been kind of bringing up production issues again for the new Black Panther, which kind of pisses me off because it's like you need to do this. You need to do this film. Like, if there's ever a film you need to do, like, it's this one to honor Chadwick Boseman. Like, but
also you're going to sacrifice a potentially huge career for this. This is the hill you're going to die on.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm just getting annoyed with the anti-vaxxers and their reasons there are crazy conspiracy reasons. Like, look, if you have legit reasons not to give back, like that's fine. Like, there's like medical issues. I know there's a lot of them worried about like they want to wait to see the what has to do with what we'll do with them being pregnant. I totally get that kind of stuff. That's understandable. That doesn't bother me. It's the dumb shit. South Park's been making fun of it on the recent COVID specials, but like the dumb shit about the tracking, the government tracking you and it's depopulation control. And like that kind of shit. I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Like, how do you still believe that going in on what feels like I think it's gonna be like the third year of this pandemic? Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. With the movies I've been watching lately, one of which I'm going to talk about today. If the government wanted us all dead, we'd be dead. Like, there's no reason for it. They can track us already with your fucking phone, with your fucking credit card. So just shut the fuck up about that shit.
If they want us dead, why are they making new fucking video game consoles that they're trying to get out to people? I always ask that because one of the ones that somehow Bill Gates got involved in that whole theory. I don't know how the fuck they pulled him into it, but they're like, he's the reason, the theory is that he wants to depopulate. I'm like, it's only the guy that's living off the fucking Microsoft man and like Xboxes that came out with new Xbox. You're telling me he wants to depopulate? Okay, sure.
My favorite wackadoodle one is the Tom Hanks is eating babies camp. Oh yeah, all these celebrities are sucking the adrenochrome out of little babies to stay young forever, because that's a thing.
Yeah, I won't name specifics, but I have family members that believe that, I don't know, like we're going about like, oh, how can they do these movies with Tom Hanks and him and your children? I'm like, because he doesn't suck their blood, you fucking idiots.
I've got one family member who believes that lizard people are controlling the world's governments. And I've got another family member who I'm fairly certain is a flat earther. He won't admit it, but everything he's been telling me is in their fucking camp. So, and they're close family. So I'm trying to debug these idiots right now, and it's not working.
No, what I'm learning with my particular family and everything they've told me, which when I did my research, actually links back to QAnon, and I know we'll be kind of talking about that with Reno. But I've learned I'm not going to try to debunk it. You guys figure out how wrong you go down the line, and then you can come talk to me and apologize when all this dumb shit that came out of your fucking mouth and I had to listen to it.
Yeah. Somewhere along the line, conspiracy theorists became a cult. I don't know when it happened, but it happened. I think mostly because we were ignoring them and just saying like, oh, look at his little stupid belief. But now it's gotten out of control, and it's starting to hurt people. And we gotta start treating this like what it is, which is cult-like behavior.
Yes.
But now, anyway, Death on the Nile looks great.
Yes. Back to this now. Yeah, and then I'm surprised that they even put Armie Hammer's name in the fucking trailer. Like when his name popped up, see, they obviously hide him in the trailer, but when his name popped up, I'm like, why would you do that? Like the guy, and I'm like, okay, yep, Hollywood's a fickle bitch. Like apparently being a cannibal just isn't enough.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I think he is a substantial character. Like they can't just like cut him out or recast. It's not worth the money. So I think they're just going to have to bite the bullet on this. But also, like I found out in West Side Story, which came out a couple weeks ago, Ansel Elgort has a sexual assault allegation against him that people apparently have not forgotten about, and the movie's getting a lot of backlash because of that. So like it's weird. Like these studios have to release these movies or they're going to lose so much money. And I'm wondering, like, are people just not investigating this shit anymore? Like, there's allegations and then there's like firing, but that's where it seems to end. Like, where's the investigation? Where's the proof? Where's the exoneration if necessary? Where's the, condemnation? Like, give us some closure.
Really, they don't give a shit. Like I said, I think I mentioned it on last week's episode, like Marilyn Manson, his reasoning for losing 2 of his Grammy nominations had nothing to do with the ongoing allegations and case. Actually, I think he's like going to court here soon, but nothing to do with that. It just had to do with the fact that he wasn't actually a credited writer on the songs. I'm like, really? Like that's why? I'm like, okay. But as for the movie itself, Death on the Nile, I have never been an Agatha Christie fan. My mom loved them growing up, and I fucking hated watching that shit on, I think it was PBS or BBC that would show like the old show. And I despised it. It was so fucking boring to me. And she watched it religiously. And I remember I went to go see the Murder on the Orient Express because I thought like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. And I was bored to tears the whole time. So I don't care. I'm not the audience for Agatha Christie's Poirot character.
Well, that is a shame, but not a surprise in the least. Well, I've always had a thing for her stories. I read And Then There Were None in 8th grade and thought, this is really good. You might like that one. A bunch of people are on an island brought there by mysterious circumstances. They all, while talking, realize they're all responsible for the death of somebody, and that's why they've been brought here. And some shadow figure is killing them off in ironic ways, and they have to figure out who among them is causing this.
It's probably a really cool gory horror film I can watch like that.
The original title of the book was 10 Little N-Words. So book's got a dark past.
I was like, that's not incredibly racist in any way.
Oh yeah. When I found that out, I was like, what? Anyway, Poirot. It's 1974's Murder on the Orient Express is a classic. Albert Finney, Sean Connery, Anthony Perkins, Ingrid Bergman, Lauren Bacall. That's a fucking great movie.
I'm glad it's a classic. I have zero interest in ever watching it though.
I know. I'm gonna see Death on the Nile, and I'm probably gonna. I hope I like it. Kenneth Branagh his track record is weird. He's got some great movies, but then he's got some fucking terrible movies. He's the guy who did that Artemis Fowl movie that I didn't even watch because after I found out how much he fucking destroyed the book, I was like, I don't even want to bother with this.
Yeah.
So,
I liked his first Thor movie, but like he got quickly outshined by Taika Waititi.
True, but he's still better than Alan Taylor.
This is true. He really, oh man, talk about a guy that talked about like trying to sound like he was gonna have a comeback. He's like, yeah, I'm really looking forward to Meeting Saints in New York. Like this is a film. I think it's like the way it sounds like he's going to get the film he wanted and finally get the boost he wanted. And America went, nope, because your movie sucks, buddy. Stick to television.
I want to know who keeps handing him the reins to big franchises.
Well, didn't he direct a bunch of episodes of like The Sopranos when it came out?
Some Sopranos, Sopranos and Game of Thrones. He directed a lot for HBO. So they gave him Thor 2 and they gave him Terminator 5. And
he's about to go back. He's about to get just TV projects again.
Yeah. Next, the trailer for Robert Eggers' new Viking epic, The Northman, starring Alexander Skarsgård, Nicole Kidman, Anya Taylor-Joy, Ethan Hawke, Bjork, and Willem Dafoe. Comes out April 22nd. And this looks crazy. Adventurous. This looks
fucking awesome. I cannot wait for this movie.
Fairly epic. There's not a lot of Viking movies out there, surprisingly.
No, we're on a real... There's not a lot, but we're on a real strong Viking kick, though, between like the, Assassin's Creed Valhalla earlier this year and then the new God of War coming out. And now this, like, we don't have a lot, but there's this weird kick happening right now with a lot of Viking Norse stuff coming out.
I think you can blame that History Channel series Vikings, which was pretty big.
I heard a lot of good things about that. I know Netflix is doing like a spin-off series. Yeah.
I just have zero respect for the History Channel. I mean, they used to be historical. Now they poisoned everybody with their Ancient Aliens horse shit. Anyway, the Witch was great. The Lighthouse was great. Robert Eggers is killing it, and I think this is going to be exciting.
Yeah. And the fact that it's comprised of a lot of his regulars too. I mean, he's bringing Anya Taylor-Joy back, William Dafoe back. Like he's bringing people he's worked with before back, along with new people like Skarsgård, Ethan Hawke, who looks like he won't be in it too long since he seems to be the driving force for the story. But still, nonetheless, great to see him. And I can't fucking wait. Like, I feel like they didn't have to work hard to make Skarsgård look like a Viking. Like, that motherfucker is huge already.
Well, the Skarsgårds are, Scandinavian. Like they are fucking Vikings pretty much. So he's got, that Eric the Red blood. So I'm sure he's going to be perfectly cast there.
Yeah, and the quick previews of the fight scenes we got look like they're going to be fucking brutal. Like when he hits that dude off the horse, I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. I'm
imagining Eggers is going to combine his, fantastic atmosphere skills from The Witch and the Lighthouse with the psychological aspects and the gore of The Witch. I think this is going to be just his greatest hits, shoved into a fucking Viking epic. So
yeah, and at the same cool. time, and it feels like it's going to also be probably his most accessible film since The Witch. Because Lighthouse, I love Lighthouse, but it's definitely like not for everyone.
That's true.
Granted, it is the movie I always tell people when it comes in regards to the Batman. People's like, oh, Robert Pattinson, you have to try. I'm like, watch The Lighthouse.
Yeah, like, you haven't seen Robert Pattinson act until you've seen him jerk off to a mermaid statue. So, yeah, watch it.
Yeah, watch him jerk off to a mermaid statue and yell about farts, and you will be convinced.
Yeah. Declare that if he had a steak, he would fuck it. That's a line in the movie.
I know it sounds like you make fun of it, but he is actually really, really, he's lights out in that movie.
Yeah, great movie.
But yeah, this might possibly be Eggers' most accessible film, while still maintaining like what he's known for, like a lot of his style, a lot of what his trademark stuff. I'm really, really, really excited for this movie.
Yeah, me too. I've been hearing about this for some time now, and now we're finally getting footage and concrete release date. It's gonna be sweet. We'll definitely be talking about that film next year. Finally, the teaser for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which was attached to the end credits of Spider-Man No Way Home and has now been released as the official teaser. Comes out May 6th, directed by Sam Raimi. We're seeing Benedict Cumberbatch, Benedict Wong, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Rachel McAdams, and Elizabeth Olsen all return in their MCU roles. As far as newcomers, I don't think we are supposed to know that yet. So one thing is for sure, we are seeing the return of Doctor Strange Supreme from the What If series, and that is fucking insane. The implications of that, I was a little confused over exactly how canon What If was going to be. Now we know.
Apparently super canon. Probably the most canon show they've done.
Very canon, which makes me think, like, are we going to see the Watcher? Like Super Ultron, when's he popping in? Like there's a lot of potential here. And it's another multiverse movie as done by Sam Raimi, whose superhero street cred speaks for itself. This is gonna be rock. This is going to rock. Sorry, I'm excited.
Oh yeah, no, everything about this trailer. I was already in for this movie, and this trailer just has me more in for the movie. I can't wait. I've been wanting a Doctor Strange sequel since the first one came out because I actually really liked that first movie.
Doctor Strange rocks.
Yeah, the first one was great, and I'm glad we're finally getting a sequel. Glad to see it Sam Raimi returning to superhero films, especially an MCU film that's supposed to be a little more horror tinged. Teaming him up with Elizabeth Olsen, who, for those who've seen WandaVision, she's become Scarlet Witch. Finally, I know technically she was since we've seen her, but it makes sense when you watch the show. She is now officially she's become Scarlet Witch as we know her from the comics. Yes. I guess is what I'm trying to say. So it looks good. I'm very curious on what cameos are hiding from us. I know I had a discussion with someone that thought they saw Agatha Harkness in the background and that she's in it. And I'm like, she's probably not in the movie because they still are trying to develop her show.
I've heard some rumors, leaks and whatnot. I mean, take the leaks with a grain of salt. But one I read was that this movie is going to introduce Professor X in a multiverse. This is how the X-Men are popping in, multiversal, and whoever wants in from the Fox movies is coming in, maybe, I guess. I mean, I'd be down for McAvoy returning to the role.
I'd be down for that. You know who we're not getting? Hugh Jackman, because he's been adamant that he's done since Logan.
Well, we can dream.
I know. It just makes me sad.
Well, I'm hearing other names tossed around, Carl Urban would kick fucking ass as Wolverine.
After seeing him on The Boys, I've always been a Carl Urban fan. Like I've always liked the guy since seeing like Doom and Chronicles of Riddick and all that stuff. Like I've always been a fan. But between Tread, which should have gotten a sequel, and The Boys, oh yeah, I can see him. Especially The Boys, he has that attitude in that show that he I think he could play a great Wolverine.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Wolverine is one of the most recognizable comic book characters of all time. It's only a matter of time before he pops into the MCU, whether it's Hugh Jackman or not.
Yeah, and I know that by like I'm sure they're actively looking for someone as we speak, and that they're they got it. They're and I'm sure whoever they pick will be great. It's tough. That's kind of one of those that it's kind of to me like Deadpool. I can't see anyone else playing that character. Like Hugh Jackman was just so perfect in the role and played him for so long. It's hard.
Yeah. 17 years he was Wolverine. Unreal.
Yeah, and gave to me the best performance in Logan. Like, goddamn, did he go out on a fucking strong note with that performance in that one?
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, Doctor Strange 2, May 6th, definitely builds on the multiversal chaos of Spider-Man No Way Home and WandaVision. So this is Doctor Strange having to clean up some pretty big fucking messes. Well, also his own mess in the form of Doctor Strange Supreme.
Yes. And then from the looks of it, again, we don't know the plans beyond this movie. The multiverse stuff calms down for a bit, supposedly. Because I know their next couple of films don't sound like they're dealing with multiverse stuff, but I mean, I think Kang's supposed to be the villain in one of the movies. I want to say Ant-Man, right? I think it's Ant-Man he pops up. Yeah. So I mean, we'll see it, but it sounds like this is gonna be the next big multiverse film, and then we're getting kind of like a break. But again, we don't know too much of the details about the films past Doctor Strange 2. So
yes. The MCU. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're blowing everyone's minds continuously. You're the best.
Blowing up the box office too. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. Before that, some unfortunate and somewhat surprising news. Lionsgate has delayed the release of John Wick Chapter 4 by almost an entire year. It was supposed to come out May 2022 and is now coming out March 2023. No reason was given for the delay. It's probably not COVID, considering Spider-Man's recent money. So I don't know. It's got to be production related.
Yeah, I really wish they just give us a reason, because this has been one of my most anticipated films for next year. Yeah. All three films kick ass to me. The fact that like Keanu Reeves is now like, I didn't even realize that he's like approaching his 60s.
Jesus,
he looks great. Like, yeah, he's able to pull off these moves, and yeah, he's aging incredible. I guess Carver can be good to some people. When you're as nice of a guy as he is.
When you don't have hate in your heart that doesn't, shrivel you.
Yeah. I don't know why a whole year was needed. It just makes me sad. I just want this fucking movie. I was thinking, okay, we're getting into January time frame. We'll get a trailer here soon, because I noticed that trailers have been kind of getting back into the old rhythm of like months in advance trailers instead of like, boom, trailer. Movie comes out in 2 weeks. Now that we're kind of getting past like the COVID delayed movies. But then nope. What I got was, no, we're moving it. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, frustrating. But we'll get it eventually.
I want it now. I don't want it eventually.
Remember before the world shot itself in the foot, and The Matrix 4 and John Wick 4 were supposed to come out on the same day?
Yes. Granted, granted, if we'll talk about it, I think John Wick would have fucking wiped the floor on The Matrix that weekend.
Well, it seems like life itself is wiping the floor with The Matrix right now.
Yes. Unless, of course, John Wick 4 sucks, but I kind of doubt that.
They could re-release John Wick 1 right now, and it would beat The Matrix.
Yeah.
Let's shift to some pretty cool DC casting news. They're still doing stuff too. I just picture like Marvel's, freaking out. Everyone's cheering for Spider-Man, and DC's over here just quietly building their own thing. Like, I'm gonna fucking show them. They don't
I feel like DC, You know what it is? I feel like DC is just sitting going, shit, man, we still got the Flash movie we're going to do the same thing.
They're like, we had a multiverse movie. Like we were gonna do it, and everyone's like, Marvel's such a genius. That multiverse so brilliant. No one else thought of that. And DC's like, but we had it on the docket for years. Like we announced stuff years ago. Marvel all the way. Like that's what it is. DC needs to step up. They need to step up their marketing game, their announcement game.
Also, I'll say this. I like Tom Holland and Spider-Man. So I already had like a lot of like interest going into this film, regardless of multiverse stuff. That was icing on the cake. I can't stand fucking Ezra Miller as the Flash. I've made that quite known. I don't get why he's such a fucking loved actor. The guy sucks. I don't like a goddamn thing he's in. And he's usually one of the worst fucking parts for me. So
I say cut him out, give it to Andrew Garfield.
He'd be a great Flash.
He would have been such a great Barry Allen. Use some multiversal bullshit, and now that he's got such a big, boost right now, your Flash movie goes up major points.
Yeah, after months of being like, guys, I'm not in it. Stop it. And then he steals the show from everyone.
He really did. He was so good.
There are some things I forgot were so funny that when I saw it second time, like when Ned's like, I promise I won't turn into a supervillain and kill you. I forgot how funny it was when Andrew Garfield pats him on the back. It's like, good job, bud.
I heard like a cool idea about how they can still do the Green Goblin like MCU style and have like Norman Osborn show up as like one of Peter's like college professors. And Peter's like, I remember that name, and like tries to help him down a better path and accidentally ends up like turning him into the Green Goblin or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's fate.
Yeah. Ooh, that'd be interesting.
I got two words for you. Bryan Cranston.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's my big thing. I think it seems like honestly for a lot of people with like the Flash movie, it's just like there's not really that much fanfare around Ezra Miller as the Flash. Fandom certainly not fucking help with his shitty introduction.
Like Ezra Miller has somehow captured the hearts of every preteen girl who's never heard of the Jonas Brothers, but that's about it. And I don't understand his appeal. I think he's one of the worst parts of the Fantastic Beast movies. I think his Flash is severely underwhelming. I think Grant Gustin with all his crying is still better.
Because that's just CW being CW. When they want him to be like hopeful and like actually Flash, Grant Gustin delivers.
I don't remember the last time I saw that part of the Flash.
God, you're such a negative Nancy. You're clearly not caught up on the show.
I know I gave up on that a long time ago because I got tired of I can't beat him. I'm not fast enough. Go have a talk about it in the hallway. We are the Flash. I think I got it. Rinse and repeat.
No, they moved off that a little bit, but
I doubt it. I highly doubt it. You don't
like to finish things. It's fine. You're a quitter. It's okay.
I gave up. I've got too much to deal with. I couldn't handle any more melodrama.
I feel like you don't have that much to deal with. But moving on.
I made it through 8 seasons of Arrow, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. It's the same thing, just he's got speed powers. Like there is a template they all follow.
All right, look, just because you're a quitter doesn't mean you justify it. Now, moving on. I think we can all agree though with the Flash. And that's the thing though, right? The main star is not the char. It's Michael Keaton coming back as Batman. I would even argue Ben Affleck coming back as Batman is more of a char for people than your main character. So I feel like that's the difference, right? Like people went into this Spider-Man film liking Tom Holland, liking our main fucking character superhero. Can't say the same for this Flash movie.
Well, here's speaking of that, here's the news I've yet to actually reveal.
Sorry, we got to the tangent.
Michael Keaton has joined the cast of DC and HBO's upcoming Batgirl movie, reprising his role as Bruce Wayne. So it looks like Michael Keaton is going to be our Batman going forward.
Apparently he's all in, which is awesome.
Just fucking amazing news. He's always been my favorite Batman, and now people are finally accepting that, which is just...
I think people have always accepted that. I think we should...
I mean, like people in charge, like studio people are like, they get it.
Audiences have pretty much come to conclusions that he's the best one.
Yeah. Well, I think he's the only guy who captured both sides of it. He was a great Bruce Wayne and he was a great Batman. Like everyone else was either or. Christian Bale, great Bruce Wayne. I did not really think he was a great Batman.
Well, yeah, because you couldn't understand half what came out of his screaming mouth.
Affleck didn't really get a chance to know him.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they do with him in this movie.
Yeah. Kilmer and Clooney, great Bruce Waynes. Fucking horrible Batman.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we talked about that quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. And then Pattinson looks like I feel like he's going to be a great Batman. I feel like his Bruce Wayne might be a little lacking just from the trailer.
Well, I'm reserving judgment. I want to wait till the movie because
am I. These are just my trailer speculations.
I think my thing is I'm very much trying to be all in on Pattinson because so many people are against him because they just look at fucking Twilight. And I'm like, nope. I'm going. You know what? I'm doubling down. I'm going to do what I do best, other than live a life of denial. I'm going to double down and go all in on Pattinson, and hopefully this doesn't backfire like it did with Jared Leto and Suicide Squad. So. But I'm all in. I'm giving this man every ounce. I'm going to be the guy with the sign being like, "You got this, Pattinson. I believe in you."
Well, I will. Yeah, I'm supportive, but actually, I don't actually have any reservations about the Batman. I am nothing but excited. Like every time I see the trailer, I'm like, "This is going to be the best Batman movie we've ever fucking had."
Oh, yeah, it looks awesome.
But Keaton's going to be in Batgirl, which means Batgirl is going to be DC EU canon, if they're even still calling it that.
No, so all that stuff's going to be canon. Like stuff coming on HBO Max, it's still canon. It's just like their plan with the HBO Max movies, like Batgirl, is that if it's something they can take more risk with without losing money, because they're like, well, we could do it, but if it's on box office and it flops, where are we at with that? So there's a chance for them to take riskier approaches with certain superheroes and put it on HBO Max without as much of a loss on their end.
That's a little disrespectful to Batgirl, but I get it.
The last time we got a live action Batgirl, I kind of get it.
But there's no way that movie is still influencing decisions. That's ridiculous. Batgirl since then has become such an icon in the comic book. Barbara Gordon is everybody fucking loves Batgirl. So I think they got to take that into account that, the character is beloved now and actually try.
You also just said it with how people are losing their minds on multiverse with Spider-Man, but everyone's forgetting about the Flash. There's still a stigma with DC live action films. Now, I know I've been on board a lot more since that first Aquaman film. I think they've been a lot more consistent with their quality. But there's still a lot of people that don't give a shit. They just look at that first couple of films, the Zack Snyder era, minus, the first Wonder Woman, and just base it off that out and keep saying they're just trying to catch up. When to me, they've stopped trying to catch up since Aquaman. They've just been kind of doing their thing and saying, okay, this is what we're going to do, and we'll just stick with this. So.
All right. Maybe I'm just a little bit more excited because I love these characters and I want to see them done right. And I'm, if Snyder's not involved, I'm entirely willing to give these a chance.
Yeah. And like I said, that's kind of like the beauty of the streaming networks, that right there, it says it's a risky chance. I don't see that as disrespect. I see it as them being willing to take characters that they're not sure will have that box office appeal, but they still want to do a faithful and good movie out of, and at least put it on something for people to watch.
Yeah, fair enough.
And if they have enough faith, it could move out. I know, I think it was Blue Beetle or Stack Shark or something was supposed to be HBO Max, but has recently got up to a theatrical release for 2023.
Oh, well, good. Also, there's so many films DC announces that never fucking happen. So it's good to see Batgirl actually getting some traction. And Michael Keaton's going to be Batman again after being Batman again.
Yeah, and this is the one with Brendan Fraser as Firefly, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I am all in on this movie.
Yeah, me too. More casting news. Michael Shannon is reprising his role as General Zod in DC's upcoming Flash movie. He previously played Zod in 2013's Man of Steel and briefly his corpse in 2016's Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. He is one of the few parts of Man of Steel I really liked. So I'm excited to see him. I hope to Christ I finally get to hear him say kneel before Zod. But
no, he
it's
won't
cool to
say
see
it.
him.
He'll yell it. Like
Yes.
he did throughout most of Man of Steel.
Scream it in Ezra Miller's face, even though they've never met. But I'm wondering, what does this mean for the film? Like, how badly is Barry going to crack the multiverse that fucking Zod is back?
Yeah. It is interesting. And like I said, I know we kind of talked about it earlier, but so far it's another case of like, I'm really liking everyone else who isn't Ezra Miller in this movie. Because I got real excited to hear that Michael Shannon's coming back. So, I mean, I love Michael Shannon, so.
Yeah. The actress who played Feora is also coming back, but I couldn't pronounce her name. And I apologize for that.
Still better than Ezra Miller, so I'll take it.
I'm wondering, like, with Zod back, would Henry Cavill, who's been very vocal about wanting to continue to play Superman, would he make a cameo?
Maybe. And you know what? With all the attention on The Witcher, it's a good way to keep him, like, the attention away from that. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's been so focused on Witcher season 2 is finally coming out. It's out, like, could have been a great way for him to, like, deflect anything in regards to Flash movie.
That's true. Yeah, this could be cool. I keep thinking it's going to be a Flashpoint movie. The more that they keep talking about it, I really hope that's true. I want to see Reverse Flash. I hope it's not just like evil Barry, like I've been hearing about. That better be a fucking lie.
I swear to God, if it's Ezra Miller trying to be a bad guy.
When you've got Reverse Flash or even Zoom, fucking Godspeed, one of these guys, use them. Like, don't do this shit again. Yeah.
I don't know. I just, like I said, Ezra Miller, God, one day he might wow me, but until then.
I doubt it. I mean, that video of him, drunkenly assaulting a fan, that wowed me.
Yeah, there's that video. And like I said, his fandom thing, it's like, did you get high before you did this? Like, what the fuck, dude? You seem so disinterested in the movie that you're in and presenting.
Is he trying to be quirky? Because if so, he's coming across as like cold.
Yeah, I was like, if you're trying to be quirky, you're just coming off disinterested and an asshole. It's not working.
Yeah. Well, finally, some awesome news to end this year with. Spider-Man No Way Home has quickly become the first major release in 2 years to cross $1 billion worldwide. It accomplished this in only 12 days, the third fastest this has ever happened. The second fastest was Avengers Infinity War in 11 days. And the first fastest was Avengers Endgame in fucking 5 days. But Spider-Man did it, A, during a pandemic, and B, without China, which is unreal. So the theaters are going to be fine.
Yes, and hopefully studios stop trying to bend over backwards to do shit for China. As we can see, we don't need them for good box office.
Nope. I do not feel comfortable with studios bending to the will of a fucking dictatorship. So take note from Spider-Man and just do whatever you want.
Yeah, we don't need them, especially in regards to some very controversial things they're doing in their fucking country.
Yeah. When your leader is modeling himself after Mao Zedong, shit is bad. So, yeah, I feel so bad for the people in China.
I get it. I know we trade with them a lot, but we don't need to trade movies. It's fine. We can keep our movie business, America. It's okay.
Yeah.
Spider-Man proved we can make $1 billion without their help. I know there's other countries that helped with that we did release the film got released in, but the key is they're trying to not help, which shows that we don't need their fucking movie business. But no, this is awesome. I mean, it's it's depressing to hear. It's like in 2 years we finally had a film that made $1 billion. As depressing as it is, it's also awesome and kind of shows that I know I've been hearing murmurs even with the Omicron variant being out about at some point next year they're looking at calling it an endemic and finally kind of getting towards a more normal lifestyle again. So it's good to see, like, with those rumors, this film do so well and people still want to go out there. And again, like you said, for all the people like theaters are dying, and the pandemic just really showed that this film made $1 billion. So no, theaters are not dying. And we, I know we kind of talked about a little bit on the Spider-Man episode, but just like reiterate, like, and why I'm glad theaters won't die, and why I get annoyed with people like Nolan and them in the comments they made, because I don't go for the film. I don't just go to the theater to watch an auteur's piece of work. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, for every good like directorial flick or Nolan flick I go see at theater, I'm also going there for the communal experience that I got with Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah. When I felt that, I was like, this movie's gonna make serious money. Like, we're gonna be talking about this one forever. It's that kind of film. And if anything was gonna make $1 billion this year, it was gonna be that movie. So well done. So that's all that happened last week in film. Let's start talking movies. We got 4 to talk about today. We were unable to get to Being the Ricardos. Sorry, but I am going to try to watch that soon. Maybe say my piece on it next week. No promises. First up,
I'm not watching it, so you're not going to hear anything from me.
I know. Don't Look Up. Netflix's new disaster dramedy satire that is one of the most infuriating films I've ever seen, in a good way. It was released briefly in theaters a few weeks ago. Is a Netflix original, so it'll be there forever. Sports one of the most epic casts I've ever seen. Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lawrence, Meryl Streep, Kate Blanchett, Jonah Hill, Ron Perlman, Tyler Perry. I mean, Timothy Chalamet. Like the list is endless. It's unbelievable. It's Adam McKay, director of Step Brothers, The Other Guys, Vice, The Big Short. Kind of a comedic genius turned kind of political satirist almost. And this movie is about really COVID. It uses the comet as a metaphor for COVID and how we are handling it. Spoiler alert, not fucking well. Somehow, an actual global pandemic became a political issue and never stopped. In this movie, 2 astronomers, Leo and Jennifer Lawrence, discover a comet is hurtling towards Earth and will hit it in 6 months. They tell the president, and the president shrugs them off because this has nothing to do with the upcoming midterms. And they go to the news, and the journalists, like it's like the Good Morning America kind of vibe, Today Show, and they're just playful and funny and don't take it seriously. And Jennifer Lawrence becomes a fucking meme when she says, "We're all gonna die." Then the White House verifies the information, finds out that they can use this to deflect from some political scandal, and then they go full force into protecting the planet. It's so fucking anger-inducing, man. Like, the whole movie is just like, why are they doing this? And it just gets worse. It just turns into this whole, like, they decide not to blow up the meteor because they can mine it for resources. And it's like Jennifer Lawrence and Leo the whole time are like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? That we're gonna die. And everyone's just like, some people don't even think there's a comet. Other people, think it's a liberal conspiracy, all that shit. It's COVID, man. The whole movie is a metaphor for COVID. Adam McKay did a great job. I would probably not watch it again because it upset me big time. But I did give it an 8. It's worth watching. It's a really good movie. It pissed off a lot of people because of its subject matter, which I understand. If you're one of these idiots the movie's making fun of, you're not going to like this. But check it out.
I had a buddy that works for some website. I went to college with him. He hated this movie, and he was like, "Yeah, it's relying on old school politics." But I don't know. He went on a big long thing. He fucking hated it. So, I've heard a lot of people shit on this film. So, as much as I've heard people like this film,
it's divisive, and that's the point. It's intentionally divisive. Adam McKay has never been subtle in his politics or what he thinks of how the world's being run right now. Just watch his last 3 movies to see that. And this is his film about the pandemic. It's got some great visual effects. The performances are awesome. And the ending is like, what the fuck? So I think it's a good watch.
Okay.
Yeah. So with that, let's move on to Reno 911, The Hunt for QAnon. Good segue.
Yeah, right. This one, I would say. So I saw this one this past weekend. It kind of popped up on Paramount Plus. It's not. It's not like Don't Look Up. It's much more that it's the Reno 911 humor. It's much more playful and fun with its humor. But I end up really, me and Josh both really like this film. It's funny as shit. It's like these guys, this cast has been doing this since the beginning. It's all the same original people, and they're still just as good as they were in the beginning. Like I loved it. Patton Oswalt pops up as one of the villains, and he's fucking great. Lennon, he's always been one of my favorite. He plays a Dangle. He's always been one of my favorite characters. He's so fucking good in this movie. If you're a Reno 911 fan, I highly recommend you watch it. I will say, like I'm sure you Don't Look Up. If you're on one of those that's very much on the QAnon train, don't watch it. You're just gonna get all pissy at the jokes they make constantly at QAnon's expense. I think at one point, like Patton Oswalt's getting chased. It's just every like red, like hard red stated person's comic con, like he calls people libtards and stuff as he's getting chased. It's just really, but it's being funny, right? It's really, really funny. So I like it. I recommend it. I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
Nice. I haven't watched Reno 911 since I was a kid. I thought it was funny. I just never really watched more of it. I have seen the movie, the Miami movie. That was funny. I like when they try to move the whale off the beach and he fucking pushes himself into the whale.
Oh, this movie starts where they're playing a prank on Dangle. And he gets on the bike. They're like, oh shit, he on the bike. He wasn't supposed to get on the bike. And it starts taking him up in the sky because they attached all these balloons to it. And they have to get him down. And they keep pulling out bigger and bigger guns to shoot the balloons. At one point, they hit Dangle. And at one point, he's like, hey, I still got my my ice cream or whatever. And someone shoots it out of his hand.
Well, I will. Yeah, maybe I'll check this out. Sounds funny. I fucking despise QAnon and anyone who believes in it. So it'll be fun to watch them get taken down a peg.
Oh yeah, they have a lot of fun with like a lot of those beliefs with QAnon. It's funny.
If you want to know what QAnon is, if you are a relatively normal person and have stayed away from that horseshit, Google it. Hopefully, don't fall down that rabbit hole. But just know it is outrageous, ridiculous, baseless, and just fucking stupid. So, yeah, if you believe in that, I don't know what to tell you. You're broken. You're done. Like new information is just giving up on you. So,
yeah.
Oh God! Remember those idiots who showed up in Dallas because JFK Jr. was going to announce that he's alive?
Yes.
Those are the people we're talking about.
Yep. Yeah, no, look, if you want to see these people get taken down a peg, yeah, they have a lot of fun at their expense. And even I forgot that Reno or Nevada legalized all the drugs known to man, because they make fun of that at the very beginning. Like you see them all like smoking weed and like they're having their meeting in the morning, and like one of them's like shooting up heroin as they're having the meeting.
That's great. That's funny. All right. Reno 911, The Hunt for QAnon on Paramount Plus. Check it out. Next up, The Kingsman, a film that I feel like I've been waiting a decade to watch because this film was delayed 5 times.
Yes, a film that we're about to disagree on here.
Yes. We both saw this one, a rare treat, and we are going to discuss it. This was supposed to come out November 2019 was the original release month for this. It got pushed endlessly. Pre-pandemic, it got pushed for God knows why. And here we are, finally watching this movie, which is going to make fuck all because Spider-Man is the only thing people are seeing. So So that sucks because the movie ends with a potential teaser for a movie I would really like to see. This is the origin story of the Kingsman Agency, which first popped up in 2014's Kingsman: The Secret Service by Matthew Vaughn, and followed up on in 2017, I want to say, or 2018, Kingsman: The Golden Circle. I really like these movies. I think they're fun. I think they're adventurous. I think they got a really cool story. I liked especially how this one weaved history into the main narrative, and I'm very interested to hear why you didn't like it.
Well, first off, they excised most of the humor from the first two films and trying to be a much more serious film.
That's true.
And then they would have moments that they try to be funny. So this is like they couldn't figure out their fucking tone, which was weird to me because the thing I like about the first two Kingsmen that I like a lot is the irreverent comedy and the over-the-top action scenes. That's been the hallmark of the series. So they took away the one of the main things I fucking like, which made a very boring ass movie. Between action scenes, I was bored to death. Cause I'm like, this is too serious. I don't like if you're going to sit there and play fast and loose with like history like you're on this movie and tie it into Kingsman, you need to go just over the top, be ridiculous, and have fun like you did with the last two films. Because you're not doing a historically accurate movie. You're playing with fucking actual history for your universe. So go all in and be over top, be funny. They didn't do that. Other than that one standout scene with Rasputin and Ray Fiennes. I don't want to fuck up the actor's name. That's why I'm not saying his goddamn name.
Rhys Ifans, or it's Rhys Ifans, one of those.
I'm going to keep saying Rasputin so I don't fuck this up.
Fine.
But that scene was what the rest of the film should have been. Like that scene was when I was like, oh, okay, this is the Kingsman I know and enjoy. And even the action that it's known for, I thought a lot of it was lacking compared to previous Kingsman film. Like again, that scene with Rasputin was the standout action scene to me. Besides that, I thought the action scenes were lackluster and pretty like not fun to watch compared to the first two movies. And then like I had issues with this being like a prequel because it didn't really feel like a fucking prequel until the very end. And like they started building it when they do their mission to go get Rasputin. See, okay, when the Rasputin, like that was like the peak of the fucking movie for me. And then I found like, but when they went to go do that mission and get Rasputin, I was like, oh, okay, so now we're seeing the beginnings here. Okay, I got it. Here we go. And then they quickly dropped that so his son can go join the war. And, fuck it, spoilers. His son gets killed, which to me didn't really feel true to the story. It just felt like a way to shock because they've done it before in the series with Colin Firth's character. They brought him back in the sequel. And I was like, you could, and then they make the Kingsman, and I'm like, you could have done all of that without killing the son. Like you literally could have had it been him helping dad with the Secret Service stuff and realizing, okay, this is what I can do to serve my country. All this World War I shit was unnecessary. I did like the action scene when they were going through Nomad's Land. That was another standout action scene. But besides those two, I just thought the tones all over the place. They dropped the humor to be more serious, which was a dumb move on their part, in my opinion. And I was bored throughout most of the movie. I remember thinking, this is a long fucking movie. I was feeling the runtime in a bad way.
That is unfortunate. I disagree with everything you just said. I was not bored. I loved the tonal differences. I liked that this was more serious because this was the origin of the agency. This was World War I. Like this was supposed to be dark.
You can still have fun because they're not even being historically accurate, so you can still have fun.
Well, they did have fun. You had the Scottish bad guy being crazy the whole time. Like that was fun.
Yeah, but he wasn't like he was just. It still felt too like they were going for a more menacing look, not fun. Like I'm sorry, the Kingsman films, the first two had a fun vibe that. The point was they were subverting the Bond tropes. That was the whole fucking point. Have fun, subvert the Bond tropes. This just felt like a subpar Bond film.
Oof. I didn't feel that. I love the characters, the performances. I loved when his son was killed. I was genuinely shocked because it subverted expectations. Like I was expecting Ray Fiennes to die, and then his son kind of takes up the mantle in his father's name. I was expecting that, but with the death of the son, we get a completely different movie, one that I was not expecting, which I liked. And give me more Ray Fiennes whenever. He's one of my favorite actors. I loved the cabal of evil 1910s people. You know, the Blofeld style board of directors that had like DuPont and fucking Lenin on it. I thought that was really cool. I liked how over the top the bad guys were, because World War I was ridiculous and really hard to describe. But I like that they weaved history into. I'm a huge history buff. So when I heard things like, you know, Gavrilo Princip and the Zimmerman telegram, I was like, I remember that stuff. I got excited because of that stuff. So this is just, you know, for me, this was a fun watch. This was an enjoyable watch. And I rank it up there with the Kingsman movies. I consider this a solid trilogy so far.
I like the first two. This one sucked.
Okay.
This was such a humongous disappointment that should have had way more fun with its concept instead of trying to be so fucking serious.
We got to see Rasputin tongue fuck Ralph Fiennes' bullet wound for a little bit.
That was the only scene that had fun. After that, they were back to being serious.
Oh, that's unfortunate for you. Tom Hollander playing George V, Kaiser Wilhelm, and Nicholas II. I thought was really cool, considering they were all three fairly identical cousins in real life. I thought he did a really good job playing all three of those characters.
I stand by. I wanted a more fun film because I went in for a Kingsman film, not for a history lesson that wasn't even like historically accurate because it's a fucking Kingsman movie.
Oh, buddy. I'm sorry. Because all the reasons you hated it, I loved it for. So that, yeah, we're not going to find a common ground on this one.
No, because apparently you don't want fun Kingsman movies. You want serious Kingsman movies.
I consider this movie a good balance of both. So I have no issues with it.
Both.
Whatever. 8 for me.
5.
Fuck, man. Wow. Ouch. Well, maybe Kingsman 3 will be what you want.
It better be. I better get a fucking fun movie instead of some self-serious piece of shit like this.
Yeah, man. Well, you're going to get your wish because this thing's going to tank at the box office. I looked it up. It's only made 16 million.
Good. Show those filmmakers we want an actual Kingsman movie, not whatever this was.
We're not going to get the Hitler movie, which
I'm okay with that outcome. I'd rather get an actual Kingsman movie.
I'm sorry. I enjoyed it. And I'm gonna, you know what? I'm okay with that. I'll defend this movie.
You enjoy that island that you will live on alone.
Well, my mom enjoyed it too, so I'm not alone. We like Kingsman. I like serious movies. I like fun movies. I like history lessons. I'm a history buff. I'm gonna be a fucking history teacher in a few years. I like history, so I was excited to have that in this movie.
I mean, I like history too. Doesn't mean I just automatically like the movie though.
Well, that sucks for you, buddy.
The movie's a movie nonetheless.
8.
5.
Fine. Well, I know we're going to find common ground with the final movie of the night. The Matrix Resurrections. One of the most unnecessary sequels I've ever seen in my life. Apparently, Lily is the most creative Wachowski because she stayed out of this one, and Lana tried her best, but clearly they're a two-person act.
That's being generous too, because like I'm gonna be for real with you, I haven't liked a single fucking movie they've done since the first Matrix.
Fuck, Jesus.
Kind of like how like remember when I was talking about how Edgar Wright hasn't done a single bad film for me, minus the first Matrix, they haven't done a single good film for me.
Okay, I on a recent watch realized I really like the Matrix sequels 2 and 3. Are fun movies for me. There's moments in there that are just fucking lights out. And compared to this hunk of trash, they're masterpieces.
They're still bad.
Not to me. I like them. All right. The Matrix Resurrections. Co-written and directed by Lana Wachowski, Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss, and Jada Pinkett Smith, as well as the Merovingian dude, all came back. Hugo Weaving said no, smartly. Although I think this movie would have been leagues better had he joined up. Because the guy they got to play Smith, I like Jonathan Groff, but fuck off.
Yeah.
There is one Agent Smith, and it's Hugo Weaving. If he says no, you write out the character and you put a new one in there.
There's two actors that would have at least brought up half a point for me. It was Hugo Weaving and Lawrence Fishburne, and both weren't in this movie.
What in the fuck was going on with Morpheus? Why do that? Like, and I remember seeing an interview where Lawrence Fishburne was like, no, they never talked to me. Like, I hope it's good. Like, way to burn a bridge, Lana.
Yeah, it's like, why would you just not bring back Lawrence Fishburne? And you can't be like, oh, he's older and out of shape. It's not like he was doing that much action in this fucking movie anyway.
Morpheus was out of shape in all three of those movies.
Yeah. And he was still doing action. I think Lawrence Fishburne would have risen to the cause. So
yeah,
he's going to be in the upcoming John Wick movie. Like,
yeah, he's got time. I mean, Hugo had like some play he had to do, which is probably, I mean, he doesn't really like sequels anyway, unless it's Elrond. But
all the first two Matrix sequels.
Well, those made sense. This didn't make a lick of fucking sense. Like, no. All right. So we start out, let's go through. Well, first, let's go back through the Matrix. Because I'm curious as to your thoughts on the sequels. The Matrix, 1999. Solid, flawless, epic action classic. Can we agree on that?
Oh, absolutely. I love the first movie. I can watch that film any day of the week. I love the first Matrix.
Okay, good. The Matrix Reloaded, 2003.
I don't know how you like this, but let's go on.
Okay. I have watched so much to back these movies up that I've explained it to me, and it makes sense. So that helps. I love the scene where Neo fights like a million Smiths. I think that's a really cool scene. The whole freeway chase.
It gets a little destroyed by the dated CGI for that scene.
I found a good explanation for that, though. The Matrix is a computer program, and it's having trouble running all the fucking Smiths in that part. So that's why everything looks a little gooey.
Is this a YouTube theory?
Yeah.
Then I don't give a shit.
Cinema wins.
I don't give a shit then.
Okay, what do you need? Like an official, like stamped approval from the Wachowskis?
Yeah, I actually need something from the filmmakers. I love Cinema Sins. I watch them all the time, but I also know that both Sins and Wins. I don't know why you hate on Cinema Sins, but
I don't hate on them. I don't need that kind of negativity constantly. I like a little positivity once in a while.
It's for comedy, so let's move on. Because that's what I was getting at. Both Cinema Sins and Wins, they do it for comedy purposes. Like, they're just being funny. So it's like, no,
that doesn't mean it's not a cool explanation for why the CGI is a little fucked up there.
But it's just a theory when realistically, from the Wachowskis, is they didn't have the budget to do that scene.
But I can choose to believe that the Matrix is fucking up here, and that makes me happy and enhances my enjoyment of the film.
Well, you live in delusion. I'm going to live in what the filmmakers presented me, and that is they did not have the budget for that scene.
Good for you. Enjoy your realistic island. Have fun.
I will.
My God. The freeway chase with the ghost things and the agents, and that was cool.
That action scene does hold up. That whole action scene I'll take.
Thank you. All right, admittedly, all the Zion shit is a little hard to follow and not all that interesting. I will give you that.
And also, my other big beef with this is that they go hard in the paint more than the first film on the philosophical leanings and trying to explain shit, and none of it makes sense. I have seen the film a couple of times, so I've seen it more than once, and I have yet to be able to figure out what the fuck they are trying to tell me in this movie.
I've seen 2 and 3 about a dozen times, and I've figured out some stuff. I'm starting to like, the whole like what is human thing, the idea that the reason the Matrix is fucked is because the architect can't figure out how to program free will. I like that. That makes sense to me. The whole idea that Neo is the 6th version of the one, and his whole point is to reboot everything. Okay. Makes sense to me. Matrix Revolutions, when we have, Super Smith, who's taken over the Matrix, when he turns Neo into one of him, he has then plugged Neo into the Matrix, which means the robots can now use that power to reboot the whole fucking thing. So it makes sense to me now, which is good. Enhances my viewing pleasure.
Yeah, but it also took you how many viewings to get to that? Because I think realistically is that the Wachowskis didn't know what the fuck they wanted to do with the story. Past the first film, they went, shit, people want a sequel? Uh-oh. and they had to like hurry up and figure something out.
You know, they
And
turned
he-
down Batman Begins to do the 2 Matrix sequels.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
And
Welcome
I
to it.
guarantee you, they didn't know what the fuck they were doing with the story, and they didn't know how to explain it. So they were like, at least for the, I'll get into what I, again, when we get to Revolutions, I'll talk about that. But at least we were loaded. They were like, just fucking front load it, heavy load that shit on philosophy. No one's gonna get it. You don't even get it, and we'll do some cool action scenes, and people will be fine. And it's like, no, it's like I said, like the CGI scene on the Agent Smith scene, it's terrible to look at, especially if taking account that the first one was well known for its mixture of CGI, like in practical, like how they were able to like combine the two for like a really like almost ageless look to that film. Like I said, they go way too hard on the philosophy point that it's like so fucking hard to comprehend what the hell this movie's about. And yeah, I will give you that action scene on the freeway is actually like pretty solid. That one holds up, but that's about it.
Well, whatever. I guess I see more value in these movies than you do, which is fine because you've shown me so many movies I haven't, jumped on the bandwagon with.
No, but you should. Instead, you're jumping on the Matrix sequels bandwagon.
Yeah, I like them. I didn't like 4, but 2 and 3, I think that's a solid trilogy. I watch all of them. I think they're good. I love seeing Neo fight Smith in the rain in the 3rd movie. I think that's a cool fight. The whole Sentinels attacking Zion with the big mech shoots with the big guns. I think that's really cool.
So Revolutions, the Zion battle's okay. I didn't really care for it. I'll give you credit on the ultimate fight between Neo and Smith does hold up and is a good payoff. But the thing is, now with that, they went so hard in the pain on the philosophy in the second film, they dialed that shit down tremendously and dropped a lot of what they were talking about in Revolution. So I was like, wait, what? I thought we were talking about what? Okay. So like a lot of stuff was dropped. The whole beginning where he's stuck in that fucking subway thing was weird. And the whole Jesus allegories were a little too much for me at the end. So I was like, when the fuck did we get to this? I was like, weren't we going on like some weird philosophy thing? And now all of a sudden it's a Jesus allegory. I was like, when the fuck did this happen?
If you've been paying attention, it's been happening the whole fucking movie. In the first movie, Neo is
not, because they have been doing this on the fly, in my opinion.
Neo was killed at the end of the first movie and then came back to fucking life. Like right there, man.
That's not Jesus allegory. He just got killed and came back to life.
That doesn't happen.
It happens in plenty of movies.
Not in this movie. No one else dies and comes back to life except for the second one when Neo fucking brings Trinity back.
Yeah, so see, people do die and come back to life in these movies.
He brought her back. He healed her. He's the whole fucking Christ metaphor makes sense.
It only popped up at the end of this one. It was never in the first 2 movies.
Jesus Christ. I don't believe that they made it all up on the fly. There's too many true through lines and connectors that make sense to me. They had some shit planned out. Maybe not all of it, but some things.
They most definitely had done on the fly. They're just really good at doing it on the fly.
No, I can't tell if you actually believe this or you're just trying to irritate me. I can't tell.
You sound a little defeated that second time you said it.
See? I don't know what you actually believe. Oh, I can't do it. I like these movies. You're not going to change that.
Okay, well, you keep living a life of delusion. I will live in the real world where the first one's great and the 2 sequels suck.
All right, I'm going to have more fun than you are.
I had plenty of fun with the first one. I just keep going back to that one. It's great.
Good for you. Well, nobody wants this fucking 4th movie.
No one was asking for this.
Keanu Reeves, I believe, came back probably as a favor. I mean,
Lily Rakowski said no to Lana, for Christ's sakes. Like, that should have told you something. Where Lily was like, no, I'm good.
It had something to do with I think their parents, one of their parents died.
Both their parents died, I believe.
both the parents died, and this was Lana's way of working through the grief. And Lily didn't want to go back to something they'd already done. Her way of working through it was moving forward. So I get that, but that doesn't make the movie a winner. I think the weird Morpheus program that's like supposed to be a young, more hip Morpheus. I don't really understand why they did that.
Especially the origin. He started out as an agent and then becomes Morpheus. Like, that doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Not just any agent. He was Agent Smith.
Yeah. And I was like, what?
And then that never comes up again.
No. Or the fact that they can just watch the entire first movie. Like when she's just sitting there watching it play, I'm like, are we watching the first? There were so many points before Josh fell asleep, which I felt like was the smarter move, that I was turning to him and being like, are we just getting like, I was like, is this script just the first film? So I'm like, this is one of the worst. Someone on Facebook, I won't name him, liked this film and actually wrote, on one of the things I liked about it was that they thought the script was well written. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Well written. It relies so heavily on callbacks and talking and little lines being ripped from the first film, that this is barely a script. This is literally like the first film, and then they just kind of added more shit around it. Like, no, this is a shitty script. This is one of the worst fucking scripts I feel like got passed through Hollywood. And
so much of the film is literally footage from the first movie. Actually, from all three movies. Like, they recycle so much footage. It's embarrassing. And
there's characters talking, saying lines, and they cut to the original fucking film. And I'm like, yeah, you cannot convince me this is a well-written film. This is a shittily written film.
Good God. Yeah, it's I don't know what the hell they were thinking here. So in this new universe, Neo, or Thomas Anderson, is a big shot game developer who is the dude who built The Matrix, one of the most successful games ever. And on paper, this could be executed well, but it isn't.
No. And this is my thing, right? I know meta stuff is all the rage thanks to Deadpool's huge success. This is the thing, though. Something like Scream or Deadpool's use of like going real meta, they work because they're already in on the joke. They're not meant to be taken seriously to begin with. They're funny films meant to be in on the joke. The Matrix is one of the most self-serious fucking films. Like the whole trilogy, extraordinarily serious. So to all of a sudden on your fourth film say, we're going to get meta and just like almost wink, like, yeah, you're right. We shouldn't be doing this film, but we're doing it. It's like, no, fuck off. Like, I actually got to a point where I was like loudly just going, like, after every fucking meta joke I heard, especially the whole, like, yeah, our friends at Warner Bros. I was like, oh my fucking God, if they go meta one more fucking time in this movie.
They want to make a sequel to The Matrix. So Thomas Anderson is just kind of like going through the motions. He apparently tried to kill himself once because he believes that this world is not real. And there's this girl, Tiffany, at his local coffee shop that he's super into, and he can't explain why. And that's Trinity, who is also still alive. And she's got Matrix kids and a Matrix husband. Thomas keeps seeing his Matrix therapist, played just irritatingly by Neil Patrick Harris. How fucking miscast. And basically he's just taking blue pills until Morpheus shows up once and is like, hey man, time to fly, and gives him the red pill. And he's like, no, and runs out into the chaos of his office getting shot up and his boss waking up as Agent Smith, which was the thing about the movie I hated the most was Jonathan Groff's performance. And it's not even his fault. It's just, why do that to that character?
Yeah. Oh God, he was trying. So he was trying, but God damn. I'm determined the Wachowskis cannot write a fucking script to save their lives. Minus the first Matrix.
They wrote V for Vendetta. That was really good.
Did they direct V for Vendetta?
No, but they wrote it.
You probably get hope to get someone else directed it. Um, someone could vent out all their shitty lines of dialogue. But like, yeah, no, he's given shit to work with, and it's just like, yeah, why do this to this character? Also, since we're kind of like you're bringing up like the office attack, is it me or is this some of the worst fucking action I've seen in a goddamn film?
Oh my god, dude! The CGI looks weaker than it did in 1999, which I can't explain.
The CGI, none of the fights had any oomph to them. Like, oh,
I found out why. The fight choreographer from the first three films did not come back. The cinematographer did not come back. Everyone who built those movies did not come back. So this feels so disjointed. It doesn't feel like part of that franchise because of that.
that explains it. Because like, I remember I turned Josh at one point. I was like, how is it? Kind of like how I was talking about Kingsman, how I feel like taking away the comedy was taking away a huge chunk of the film for me. A film trilogy that is well known for two goddamn things. One, it's goddamn philosophizing constantly. And two, it's action. Like Matrix, especially that first one, more so than the sequels, has been well known for redefining action in American cinema because of how impressive those fucking action scenes were. So to be on a fourth film in your franchise that has redefined action in '99 and have some of the worst fucking action scenes known to goddamn man. And the thing is, we know Keanu Reeves can still fucking do it. He's doing goddamn John Wick still. So it's not like he can't do it. He can still do it. It's just, yeah, these like the whole I know we're gonna get to it, but God, the fucking subway fight they want to recreate was so fucking awful to sit through.
I didn't like that the composer didn't come back. The score really helps keep the first three films like together. Didn't feel that with this movie. The weight, like the weird new Matrix where like you don't need a phone booth, you can just kind of go through mirrors and shit. The new characters I fucking hated. Like none of them made an impact at all.
No.
Jada Pinkett Smith, Niobe, her character was turned into a cold, heartless bitch.
Yeah. I was like, why is she so bitchy?
Did she learn nothing from Morpheus's like faith, which was the whole point of the third movie? Like her coming to terms with the fact that Neo truly was the one. All that went away, and she just turned into like I got to protect these people by any means necessary, even if it means locking up the one thing who can end this war. Again, I thought the explanation of how Neo and Trinity survived was incredibly half-assed. Just the robots like rebuilt them.
Yeah, I was like, no, they're humans. They age, so like, no, that wouldn't work.
Because the strongest thing that can power the Matrix is fucking love. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that was
imagination. God damn it.
And then like it kind of like to me shits because the whole point of like the third film was like he sacrifices himself. Matrix, yes, gets rebuilt, but it's supposed to get rebuilt for better. And then this film just undermines all of that.
Yeah, we don't need this. It's unnecessary and it adds nothing to the mythology. It's forgettable. I mean, I saw it like a few days ago and I already forget most of it.
Yeah, even the fucking ending with the big, then they take care of the villain. It's literally them just saying, "Don't mess with us. We want to rebuild the Matrix the way it should be." And I'm like,
just stay out of the fucking Matrix and you'll be fine.
Yeah. I'm like, that's it. That's it. That's what we're doing. Okay. And then we get oh God, again, going with the constant fucking callbacks and going the goddamn cover song. And I was like, you got to be shitting me.
You want to hear, speaking of shitting you want to hear some interesting trivia?
I was like, isn't this the band that like pissed on the dude on stage?
There it is. Yep. Thank you, Dan Cummins, for showing us that.
I saw that without name. I just saw that was like trending all over my fucking shit.
I had no intention of watching a woman piss on a dude's face until I ended up saying it inadvertently on another show I watched.
No, I watched the whole thing. It was quite something to watch.
That was a lot of piss. Anyway, he had a cup on his head. He was prepared for that.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I mean, at least it was consensual, so I can't really get mad at anyone. I can just be like, "That's disgusting." No, don't ever piss on me.
There were kids in that audience. That was an all ages show.
Yeah. Besides her pissing on someone, she also the moment it got to the point in the song, she had to yell "Wake up!" I'm like, "You're not Zach Taylor Rocher. He can scream that and you feel it. You just sound like a whiny fucking teenager."
It sounded so. It was. I think it was the perfect song to end this movie on. So I'm like, yeah, it's a shitty version of something we all loved. So yeah, of course, end it on that crap.
Yeah, this movie, and I was bored. I remember when I had to pause it at one point to take care of my dog and everything. And it said I saw it an hour, and both me and Josh were like, "Fuck, we still have an hour. God damn it!" I was yelling at my dog. I'm like, "Dude, hurry up, eat. Come on, I gotta finish this movie. Let's go."
When the Merovingian showed up as a shaggy, weird dude, and then just started yelling meta shit from off the sidelines, didn't do anything, and then said "I'm gonna be in the spinoff" or some shit like that. Just kill him, please.
Yeah, was that the fancy dude from the second film?
Yeah, the guy who sends the girl the rape, the rape cake.
Okay, yeah.
The French guy.
Yeah, because I was really wondering what happened to him. God damn it!
I wanted to know what happened to Monica Bellucci. She was one of my favorite things about the second and third movie.
Well, I mean, yeah, she probably looks better than he does because it's Monica Bellucci.
If you saw Spectre, you know that she does.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just this film, it was amazing how hard this film lied on the prior three as if they didn't have a real story to tell in this movie.
It didn't.
Because they didn't.
The whole idea of some robots defected and became good robots, but with very little explanation beyond we need there was a power shortage that caused a civil war. Why would that make some robots align with humans? Wouldn't they be trying to destroy, was it Io, just so they could get more people to plug into the batteries?
I don't know. I thought one thing I had was when they went into the theater, when they send Neo to the theater and they're literally playing the Matrix, and it's the whole scene between him and Morpheus when they first met in the Matrix. I'm just like, stop reminding me of this better film. And what the fuck, Candyman? You had a great year with Candyman, and then you did this piece of shit. God damn it.
Oh boy. Trinity waking up at the end made no sense. She's very firmly I have a family, stay away from me. She turns around once and she's like, I am actually Trinity. It was out of fucking nowhere. And then just followed up with a bike chase of everybody. Oh, I hated the new form of agents where people would just have bugs in their eyes and turn into suicide bombers.
That was dumb. And oh my God, can we talk about his fucking power? Neo's goddamn power that was so dumb and overused because it's the OP power you can think of.
When he just becomes a bulletproof shell.
And he can force push everyone. And I'm like, how am I supposed to feel any stakes if he can just fucking force push his way out of anything?
Oh boy. What else we got? There's not a lot to really unpack here. It's really just dull.
It's dull. It drops if you thought a lot of philosophical stuff got dropped in Revolutions because they did way too much when Reloaded. Holy shit, it's just gone here. And I didn't realize it, but by it being gone and by the green color palette being gone.
Oh,
yeah. This just felt like another standard, big budget Hollywood film.
At the end of the film, when Smith shows up and starts beating the shit out of the analyst because somehow Smith can bypass his stop everything powers.
Yeah, and somehow he has a beef with him that's never really fully fucking explained.
Yeah, and then he beats the shit out of him, saves Neo, and is our partnership is at an end. What partnership? Where was that established? What are you talking about? And that would have so much more gravitas if it was Hugo Weaving, if it was the Smith we cared about.
Yeah.
I didn't like how he constantly called him Tom. Like, Mr. Anderson has become culturally relevant. Maybe use that.
It invoked fear. Like, every time, like, I still think that scene when he turned on and he yelled out, Thomas Anderson. I was like, I wish it was Hugo Weaving. Like, can you imagine Hugo Weaving having that moment? Would have been awesome.
Yeah, this would be up a few points with his involvement.
Yeah. And then as soon as, like I said, he comes in on that scene, interrupts them fighting in whatever building they were in, and you just hear Mr. Anderson.
Instead, he's like, hey, Tom, I don't like you. Like, and even Keanu, it seems so disinterested. Like, more so than the other Matrix movies. I get he's supposed to be disjointed, but I didn't feel that.
See, and I didn't really feel him disinterested. I mean, he may have been. This may have been just like I said, a favor. I thought he was just playing the character exactly like he did in the first 3 films. And like, let's just be honest, like, I'm not saying he's a great actor, but I never thought his performance in any of the Matrix films were revolutionary. He always played like this, like, seemingly disinterested, like, whoa, I know Kung Fu, which, God damn it, I still know Kung Fu. Fuck off with that line. God.
Fair enough. But I just felt there was something about this performance, especially where he had this general vibe of like, I really don't want to be here right now. I didn't feel that from the first 3 movies, but this time I was like, he's doing this because he kind of owes the Wachowskis his career. So I get it, but I just did not vibe that he cared.
Okay. See, I just needed to, for me, it just felt like the same standard like Matrix performance we got in the first 3 films, which wasn't like the most outstanding performance to begin with. Like, I think he puts a lot more effort when he does a John Wick movie.
It's cool to see.
He put a lot more effort coming back for Bill and Ted.
Yes, he did. I bought that one. I believe that performance. I thought Priyanka Chopra Jonas as the little girl from the 3rd one who grew up. Interesting. Her stakes didn't really make a lot of sense, and her character just kind of showed up to be like, this is what we're doing now.
Yeah, and she disappeared. You know what bugged me? The chick, I think it's Jessica Henwick, Bugs.
No. Mm.
She had this whole thing where she was like, see, this is where you want to revolutionize, much like the first film. Going to re-evolutionize filmmaking. And the whole 2.5 hours, I was like, if this fucking re-evolutionizes filmmaking, I'm scared. I am terrified for our future because holy shit, this is terrible, and I don't want it to revolutionize anything in film.
They always like pump it up. They're always like, this movie is the greatest thing I've ever done. Like, every time they're always like, this is going to change your world. And 9 times out of 10, it's just another piece of Hollywood dreck. Yeah. So
I've learned the harder they pump that. Like, I've learned the harder they're pumping, like, how great the film is. Yeah. It usually means it's pile shit. If they're just sitting there going like, hey, we're just really excited for people to see it, can't wait for you to see it, usually it's good because that means they're keeping a lot of shit to the vest. They don't want to spoil shit.
That's exactly what Spider-Man did. They were just like, we think we did a really good job on this. We're excited for you to see it. 2 of their biggest draws said nothing. Like Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, knowing they were there, this movie, like, any other studio would have been like plugging the shit out of that. Like, Spider-Man reunited. Like, they would have been plugging that. Marvel was like, let's let them have that. Let's let the fans have that moment. And that was smart. The Matrix, there's nothing left in the tank. Like, there's nothing else to tell. Nobody was wondering. Neo died saving everybody. Okay. Neo, the Matrix was rebooted. It was a good ending. It made sense. Building on that just means that now we got more canon shit to deal with. And I don't like that. I mean, we'll probably, I actually, no, this is getting pretty decent critic scores. So this won't end up on our new show.
No, which is surprising when I heard that was getting decent because that one made me kind of interested. I was like, oh, okay, people are liking it. And then I was like, I remember seeing the whole movie going, what the fuck up here? I don't understand the Wachowskis. Like, actors flock to be in their movies. People flock to I don't want to say people flock to see their movies. Critics will like praise their films. And I'm like,
I don't know about that one either.
Yeah. Okay, either way, they get some high talent actors involved, and every time I watch the movies, I'm like, what do they have on people? Because your films suck ass. And I was like, This one worse. I texted you because I was just so like, I was like, dude, the action in this film sucks ass. Like, holy shit, this movie.
I was almost not going to tell you I didn't like it because I was worried you wouldn't watch it and then we wouldn't have this whole thing. Thankfully, you did.
No, I want to watch it. I was going to give it a shot. Not in theaters. I watched it on HBO Max, and oh my god, even HBO Max was kind of burying it. It was kind of funny because HBO Max will have like, you know, they put the new release on the front, like, hey, you can watch Kong versus Godzilla. You can watch Mortal Kombat. You know, they always put on the front page like to advertise. No, when I turned it on, they were like, "You still want to watch the holiday movies? You guys want to still watch Christmas movies?" I had to search it. I had to look it up. They're like, "Wait, you sure you want to watch this? You sure you want to go down this hole right now?"
I saw it at the theaters in a sold out theater.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I had to sit next to a weirdo, and
How many people walked out there sad?
I wasn't sad. I was pissed. Theater tickets are expensive. If I'm going to see a movie, I want it to be good. I want it to be worth my dime. And that's happening less and less lately. Yeah, I give this a 5, and that's being generous.
This is 3.
3.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oof. I'm sure I'll be able to defend the Matrix Revolutions on Beyond the Bad.
Yeah, you have fun with that.
36%, which I thought was low, considering this one has a fucking 69%.
Yeah, no. This one should not be at 69%.
Well, fuck.
I'm actually on the Wikipedia right now. Like, this is what it says: the performances and action sequences were praised. What?
By who? Them?
Yeah, I thought John Wick like brought us new action, like raised the bar, but apparently we're lowering that bar dramatically thanks to the Matrix Resurrections, which really just means that now all the odds are stacked in Keanu Reeves' favor for John Wick 4, because it's not going to be a lot for him to fucking blow us our minds on the action.
Somebody called James Cameron. We got to raise the bar.
We got to raise the bar. Apparently it's going to take Avatar 2.
Oh, God. I was talking about South Park. Avatar 2, go back.
I know, but I know Avatar 2 is apparently coming out. But get this, though the writing and visuals received some criticism.
I'd say that, yeah.
I would also say the action should get criticism because that was some of the worst action scenes I've seen. Performances give and take. I thought some actors were actually doing pretty good in the movie, but
who?
They were working with what they had. And by that, I mean everyone outside of Morpheus and Agent Smith.
Give me a name.
Keanu Reeves, Carrie-Anne Moss.
No. Carrie-Anne Moss, maybe.
Neil Patrick Harris was trying. I don't think his villain worked, but he was trying.
Neil Patrick Harris belonged in a completely different movie. Like, no, this is not the, the fucking creator of the Matrix.
I am saying the actors tried. I'm not talking like scripting and stuff. The actors tried. They just got handed some shit material.
I blame them a little bit.
I don't know how you can blame people that were trying to make something work.
I don't think they were trying that hard.
I feel like they were trying very hard.
Well, how much did this cost to make?
How much? Stand by. We gotta scroll back up. Nope, that's the plot summary. 190 million somehow.
Oh God.
It hasn't even broken 100. So unless we're on the fucking minority here and people love it, I don't see it doing too hot.
Jesus Christ. Oh boy. Well, you know what? Lana did say that she's not starting a new trilogy with this, that this is the end of the Matrix. So at least we got that. We don't have to watch more of these.
About Revolutions, and apparently we were wrong.
Fuck. Well, all right. I'm going to hope that this means this is dead. But how many franchises lately have we had to watch get like dug out of their graves and watch their corpses get fucked? How much has that happened to us lately?
It's way too much.
Yeah. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, because I know they spent years telling the studio no, because the studio was adamant about doing a fourth film for years, and they were like, no, we don't want to do it. We ended it with the third film.
We've got to write Jupiter Ascending. Leave us alone.
We gotta do Speed Racer, guys. Stop it.
Cloud Atlas is calling. Get off our ass.
Oh, that's another one that
I like Cloud Atlas.
oh, you fucker. I'll say that's another one I fucking hated that movie.
You speak the true.
Shut up. That movie was fucking stupid. Fuck that. God, I hated that fucking movie so much. Dumb fucking okay. Yeah, I don't get it. And like and look, Lana's reasoning for doing this film should have been the red flag. It wasn't to continue the story. It wasn't to be like, you know what? I have a really cool way to bring these characters back that we fell in love with, this universe that everyone fell in love with. I have a really cool. No, it was my parents' side. I want to deal with it. I'm not trying to shit on the fact that she's going through her own grief, that they're both going through their own grief. But making a film for that reason is the wrong reason, because the only one it's serving is you.
I get writing the film, but maybe that's where it stops.
Yes. Because you are now making a film that only you're intending to enjoy, when the point is, and you hear it all the time, and they talk about it on the movie Crypt, when that gets released, it's no longer your film. It belongs to the public. Like the whole world's seeing it now. So you didn't make a film for the right reasons for the world to see. Again, like I said, so people can get invested in these characters, can get back into this world, like fall in love with what we fell in love with back in '99. No, you did because you were feeling grief and you thought, well, I'll make a new Matrix film to help cope with that. But okay, cool. So it's a movie meant for you and you only. How am I supposed to relate to that as an audience member?
I just keep thinking about the brass against cover of Wake Up. It's like if, that Elton John movie Rocket Man ended with fucking William Shatner's rendition of Rocket Man. Like, why is this here?
That would probably be more entertaining, though.
Why not just use the Rage version? You did it before. It's not like you have a difficult time getting the rights back to that.
You did it on your first film when you didn't even have the fucking money for it. So you tell me you can't do it now?
Oh boy. Yeah, this movie fucking sucked. So there it is. There's not much more else to say. This is the last time I'm ever going to talk about this movie. So I can put this in the back of my mind and hopefully let it die.
It might end up on a list of mine that we discussed doing. So I'll at least talk about it one more time, probably.
But it's the score. But what about our process? The score is a 69. That's above. That's not rotten.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about for an upcoming sneak preview episode that we literally discussed before we started recording.
Oh yeah. Well, I didn't want to talk about that yet, my friend.
That's why I'm hinting at it, friend.
Honestly, I saw so much shit this year. I don't know if it'll make that cut. I saw so much worse shit.
Oh, this was pretty bad.
This was bad. I don't know.
Terrible.
We'll see. Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
The fact that I felt jealous of Josh falling asleep for an hour tells you how bad this was. Like, I wanted that. Like,
this has been a negative fucking episode. I mean, way to end the year. God damn. Maybe we should have watched the Lucy movie. Maybe that was really, really good and we could have had a better discussion.
I doubt it, but let's
thanks for listening, everybody. If you like what we do, you can always follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Filmgazm Productions. If you want to suggest films for us to check out, you can always send us a message there or email us at filmgazm@gmail.com. Or, comment on the website or comment on YouTube. If you want to support the show, you can always click on support this podcast. Send us a couple of green if you want to. If not, that's fine too. Hope you had a good time. Next week will be our first sneak preview of 2022. As per tradition, we will be presenting our own top 10 lists of what we believe to be the best films of 2021. And as a little bonus, we're also going to, as Caleb hinted, present our top 5 worst films of 2021. We've seen enough to make pretty balanced lists for both. And I'm very interested to hear what you've got.
Yeah, because I feel like there's going to be some, especially genre stuff that we disagree on. But I'm interested. Like I said, it's funny that like last week there's a film that's definitely gonna be making it. I have no issue saying the Spider-Man guys. Spoiler hint on my list will make it on my list.
Yeah.
And then this week there's a very good chance that Matrix Resurrections making it on my top 5 verse. Like it's interesting how that happens in 2 weeks at the tail end of the year.
Calling it right now. Number 1, best film 2021, Gunpowder Milkshake. Remember that? Fear Street 2. Remember that? We've been at this for a while now.
Oh boy. America, the motion picture.
Oh my God. Army of the Dead. Yeah. Let's not give too much away for next week, but we are going to be recapping pretty much the whole year.
Did Snyder's Justice League come out this year?
Yes.
Okay, so that's okay.
I'm excluding that because my experience with the film tainted my thoughts of the film. So I don't really know how to rate that film accurately. So it won't be on the list.
I'm glad you're saying that now because I was like, there's no way in hell I'm the only one on this team that thinks this is an overindulgent piece of shit film.
I liked the movie, but I also really enjoyed having barbecue with my dad and watching it the whole day. It was a good day. So I can't. The movie, the movie could have sucked. I wouldn't have noticed. So that's next week's sneak preview. Thank you for checking us out for a whole year, 52 straight weeks of sneak preview. It's been a daunting show, and we have seen some. I looked it up. I did the numbers. I watched 124 2021 releases.
Yeah, let's not do that next year.
No, we're gonna half that, maybe third it, probably fourth it.
Yeah, because I've been doing this thing where I only watch stuff I'm interested in, and I do stuff for me, like watch a film I wanted to see, or play video games that I've been wanting to play, or read books that I've been wanting to read. It's been pretty awesome. It's like I'm still doing stuff for the show, but I'm also still doing stuff for me in my personal time, so it's pretty awesome now.
Yeah, just wait till you're hosting a show. Speaking of, we're going to be announcing.
I'm going to go on like breaks for the show, just like the another show we used to have, just month-long breaks. But go on.
We're launching a new show in January. We mentioned this on Filmgazm and Oscar Sunday. We're mentioning it here, January 7th, Friday. Beyond the Bad, a podcast that will focus on the worst films of all time. Caleb here will be hosting it. I'll be the frequent co-host for the most part, with appearances by Josh and Austin periodically. We're going to be talking about just films that have been reviled and lost and thrown away, and try to find out, like, does this deserve to be here? Does this deserve to be called a terrible movie? Most of the time, probably. But we're also going to find films that are critically reviled that we enjoy and try to defend them a little bit. Our first film, January 7th, Friday, will be Batman and Robin. Very excited to launch it with that. And if you want to hear more, check out last week's Filmgazm. Yeah,
very excited for everyone to hear the first episode. I was talking to you before we recorded. I'm already prepping work for the second episode already, so I'm getting that going. Along with also for our shows. So I am beginning the process for a second episode because I'm really, you mentioned it, the hint for that episode, and I'll say it again when we record, is you touched on it, talking about films that are critically reviled but that we like. This is exactly the type of film for the second episode of the show. For me, I know for you. So, it's going to be fun. I don't remember if I mentioned it when we first talked about it last week. But for those who are like, when I was talking about how we're picking films, I know I said like we're kind of using Rotten Tomatoes as like the baseline, just to have some kind of baseline. But obviously, I can't remember if I mentioned it. There's certain things like the Saw franchise, Friday the 13th, that every single film is hated by critics. So every single film is rotten. Yeah. In those cases, exceptions will be made because I'm sorry, Friday the 13th and Saw are fucking great horror franchises. Yeah. And in that case, we're going to be looking at like just what the fans hate.
Yeah. So there's going to be a certain amount of our personal judgment calls on certain franchises. Some stuff we know belongs on the Filmgazm podcast. Other stuff we know belongs on Beyond the Bad. So that's going to be kind of our call. Trust our judgment. We know what we're talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, prepping for the second episode already. Probably around January. I'll be, prepping for future episodes. Not just like prepping what's already on the schedule, but I mean like coming up with the schedule for the next couple of months as well. I'm already kind of thinking about rounding my head on that one.
Yeah.
So
what we got planned already is pretty good. Good variety, hilarious potential there.
Yeah. And as far as like Austin and Josh Barron's show, I look forward to whenever they want to co-host. I know Austin was talking about it on Oscar Sunday. And all I have to say is like whenever you want, buddy, hit me up. Hit us up on the text. I'm more than willing to have you over on Beyond the Bad. Talk to some bad films.
Yeah. You've watched the best. Now watch the rest. That's don't miss The Evil Dead on this Wednesday's Filmgazm, and When Harry Met Sally on Oscar Sunday. There it is. We hope you had a good 2021. We hope you have an even better 2022. And we'll see you next week.